Hello, everybody. It is Tuesday's tip Tuesday, whatever. You'll remember it because I never remember what I call this. Okay, so um, October, happy fall, happy Halloween month. It is also ADHD Awareness Month. And in true ADHD style, I am telling you about it. I don't have my watch on, like 4 days after it started. So to be fair, I had to get my second shingles shot this weekend, and it just like totally knocked me on my butt. So I was out of commission this weekend. So anyway, so I'm going to be adding some probably extra content this month, maybe doing a few extra lives. If there is anything that you want to make sure I cover this month regarding ADHD, please put it in the comments or feel free to direct message me so that I can make sure that we cover everything that you guys would like to cover this month. But I'm really excited about ADHD Awareness Month. I think everyone can agree that ADHD is the most misnamed condition like on the planet. We don't actually have a deficit of attention. We can't regulate where our attention goes all the time. We actually want to pay attention to everything, which is the problem. Hyperactivity is not always us bouncing off the walls. Sometimes it's all chaos in our heads, right? And those are just two of so many things that go on with this condition. I'm sort of curious, what would you rename it? If you could rename ADHD anything, what would you rename it? I really don't know what I would rename it. I think about that a lot, and I don't know what they would call it. But what would you call it? Sort of curious. Okay, so the Disruptors. So I heard about this documentary from a podcast, and while I was, laid out miserable this weekend, recovering from my shot, I watched this documentary while my husband and kids were out, having fun. So I am. I've already told all of them we're going to watch this together as a family. If you have people in your life who just don't understand ADHD, maybe they think it's like a bullshit diagnosis, right? It's just an excuse to be lazy or all the other things that we've heard over the years. I really encourage you to have them watch this movie. If you have teachers in your life, if you are a parent of somebody with ADHD and you have teachers that don't think this is a real thing, I encourage you to encourage them to watch this movie. They do such a good job of dispelling myths, of talking about the science behind it. The doctors and therapists that they talk to, many of whom I highly respect in this area, Dr. Ned Hallowell, who wrote Driven to Distraction and ADHD 2.0, who he himself has ADHD, Dr. Barkley. They talk about a lot of the science behind it. And I think that can kind of help people who think this isn't a real thing understand better how this works. They talk about the impact on kids, especially when they're not caught, especially when teachers don't understand all of the elements of it, like emotional dysregulation, right? They don't understand. It's not just that they're really hyper and want to be moving around all the time. They struggle to regulate their emotions too. They talk about the impact on women and how it's impacted us when we have been, so many of us, like many of you in this group, were caught late, right? I was 49, and it's 30 years from the first time I tried to explain this to a doctor. I think this movie does a very good job of laying out, yes, what some of the challenges are, right? But they also talk about some of the pluses of it, right? Dr. Hallowell does a really great job of discussing if you turn the negatives around, right? So if you just like distraction, well, what's distraction? Turn that up on its head, it's curiosity. Well, look at all the amazing things that have been created out of curiosity. He does such a good job with that. And what was the other thing I was going to mention? Of course, I can't remember. Anyway, I really recommend you see it. If you have ADHD, if you have loved ones who have ADHD, I encourage you to have your teachers watch it, family members watch it. It really is a very good breakdown of what ADHD is in layman's terms. They also talk to highly successful people who have ADHD, right? So Steve Madden, who does the shoes, right? Terry Bradshaw, Howie Mandel, Will I Am, um, and then there are several CEOs who I don't even know who they are. I think one of them is the owner of, is it JetBlue? Anyway, and they talk about how without this, they would not probably be where they are. But it was because of the constant drive and the hyper focus and the pluses that can come with ADHD that they are as successful as they are. There are kids in here that if your kids have this, they're going to connect with and they're going to see it isn't just them. Sorry. I know how many of us have felt alone, and I know I talk about this a lot. I really want people in this community to understand they're not alone. Whether it is you discovered your ADHD really late, whether you were diagnosed young but nothing really was done about it, whether you are the parent of somebody who has ADHD and you don't know where to begin with them, you're not alone. That's why this group is here. Okay. So please watch this movie if you can. You can rent it, you can buy it. It's not playing for free anywhere, but it's the rent. I think rental was like $4 or something through Amazon. Absolutely worth seeing. Okay, so so that's it. So if there's anything you want me to cover this month, with it being ADHD Awareness Month, please let me know. I plan on covering a lot more. I've been, the last several I've talked about challenges that we've had and possible ways, possible systems that can help you with it. But I also want to start focusing too more on some of the positives. I I know there are people out there that are like ADHD is a superpower, and it has its pluses, absolutely. I think it is important to be realistic about how ADHD impacts you because the challenges are also very real. But what happens is when we first get a diagnosis, we tend to focus on the negatives because the negatives are what caused us to go get the diagnosis in the first place, right? Nobody goes to get a diagnosis if everything's working out well in their life. So it's really easy to get really focused on all of the challenges that we have. But I also want us to really focus on the good that comes as well, because it is out there. Okay, so I'll be focusing more on that too this month. Well, really every month, but starting this month. And I think that's it. So if you have anything you want me to discuss, if you've seen the Disruptors and have your own review of it, feel free to share. And definitely tell me what you think you would rename ADHD if you could rename it. Okay. All right. So I will be seeing you in here again soon. And have a great week.